Alright, welcome. For our next section we're going to go through application software and system software. We'll just kind of define some of the differences and I'll give you a couple examples that'll make sense. But first of all, let's just start off with application software. It's going to help you perform a specific task. Application software, just think of it as an app, okay, for a iPhone or something you would put on your computer. The system software is going to refer to the operating system and all the utilities that manage the computer's resources. And it says at a low level, which basically means that smaller parts, like maybe I want to change the brightness of my screen. Well, that's a system setting. It's a utility program that allows me to change that. So let's just look at, dig down a little deeper on application software. It is composed of programs designed for an end user, that would be you, and also referred to sometimes as productivity software. Things like Microsoft Word, Excel, even a Black Ops game is considered an application software. But using application software, a lot of times you can modify the rules of how it talks to the computer. Apply the rule, how you modify and apply rules to the data. Meaning, if I'm working in Microsoft Word, I can change the fonts. I can change how it handles different things. Let's use Black Ops as an example. You get to go in and kind of configure different settings within the software. Okay, that changes how the game interacts and performs its duty. Same thing with Microsoft Word. If I change all my font to be red, well, now on my screen I'm going to see red text. It's because I changed the font. So I was able to manipulate and change some of the rules, but I'm able to do that in application software. In system software, it's basically a group of programs that coordinate and control the resources and the operations of the computer system. And I'd mentioned a little earlier, similar if I wanted to change the brightness on my screen from my iPad. I'm going to be going into the iOS 7 or iOS 8 or iOS 14, whatever it is nowadays, and I'm going to go to my settings icon, and I'll go into and change that setting there. And that's the sole purpose of that software. I can't change the volume when I'm in the brightness setting. Okay, that's its sole purpose. It's a very simple job. It doesn't have to coordinate with a whole bunch of other things. Usually it just coordinates directly with the hardware and the operating systems, which bring us to the difference on an operating system. The operating system is the interface between the user and the application and the computer hardware. Real simple. The best example I could give you is iOS 8 just came out. I think it's 8. A lot of changes. It changed some of the things that you were able to do before. It's what you interface with. And by interface means that's what you deal with on a daily basis. It's what you're looking at. It's what you're manipulating. Okay? So operating systems are things like Windows, things like Mac, which is actually the iOS X or Mountain Lion, depending on the version that you have. On an iPhone, the mobile operating system for the iPhones is iOS 8. For the Windows phones, I believe it's the Android operating system or the Google Chrome operating system. But it's an operating system. It doesn't really have software within it. The software actually sits on top of it, if that makes sense. Without an operating system, the software could not do anything with that particular device, that piece of hardware. Okay, so the software and application software sits on top of the operating system in order to work. Okay, and here's just a quick picture of what an operating system looks like pictorially or graphically, and just shows you that it's the interface. The utilities and language translators, these are basically programs that help maintain the computer hardware and other software. Bottom line is that it's usually a lot of code. It's going to take our input, translate it down, and then make the computer function according to what we need it to do. For example, if I'm speaking into Siri, and it will actually translate whatever vocally I put in to a X's and O's that the computer actually understands, and then so the computer can now use that. But utilities and language translators are ways of taking input and they translate that over and put it into information that the computer can actually use. And I am going to stop right there. We're not going to go into software distribution yet. That'll be our next chapter.